FIFA being corrupt, it doesn't matter. And here is why and how it relates to your business and finding success in life. So World Cup is going on. I love soccer. World Cup, I think, is the greatest sporting event that exists on the planet today. But a lot of people would disagree, and especially a lot of Westerners, and now a lot of fans of teams that have been eliminated from the World Cup now that we're going into the semifinals of it. They probably would maybe disagree as well. Or maybe they would say something like, yeah, the World Cup used to be great, or it is great, but I don't know if it's great anymore. And some of this controversy is coming from the VAR technology, which allows the officiating team to get a call from above, kind of like football, to review or challenge a play. They don't have challenges in place, but there's been some controversies in soccer that people have led people to saying, oh, FIFA's corrupt, it's fixed against the underdog teams because they want certain teams to advance to the finals or advance forward for whatever narrative they have, or they're paying money, whatever the reasons are, okay? And I think it's kind of funny. We're also seeing on X and posts on social media just the amount of people that are playing into this drama. Also the amount of people that have no idea, no soccer IQ. I grew up playing soccer. I was going to play in college. I ran track instead as a Division I school. I wish I would have played soccer. I wish I would have stuck with soccer and did that, but I prioritized my education and scholarships, which I had for track and academics over soccer, right? So I played a lot of soccer. I grew up with it, so I have a pretty good feel for the game. I was a referee. Now I didn't play at a professional level, but it doesn't leave you, okay? And then understanding sports and understanding how the dynamics work. I'm sitting there looking at these games and seeing this and seeing that, yeah, there are some potential chances where like the refs are making, questionable calls and there's situations where you'd want them to use VAR where they don't. But I don't know all of the rules, all the ins and outs of it. And so I can't fully comment or can't fully judge the referees because I am not a rules expert on how and when and why they're using it. I also don't have access to all the data. Right, and a lot of people see things and they immediately think, oh, that's foul play. Oh, the ref was bad. Oh, they're favoring this team over that team. And it's really funny because they do this and they kind of have a very myopic view of what's good and what's bad. They see a ref make a call that they don't agree with against their team, but they don't similarly weight all the calls that the ref made that was against the other team, right? That was in their favor. And this happens all the time. But a couple things out of this is that, one, people love to complain, right? They love to complain, especially the people that are the most ill-informed on something. They love it. They love it. So they exist. So if you're building a business, right, this is the first thing to relate to your business. If you're building a business, just know that the haters are out there. I have clients and it blows my mind. Sometimes I'll get an email and someone's complaining that my clients, who their business is to sell courses, and they don't hide the fact that part of their business is selling courses. People complain that the client is selling courses, right, and the content that they are putting out there, and it's just like, well, hello, it's business. You wouldn't get offended if you walk into a restaurant and the restaurant offers to sell you food, right, or drinks, right? It's normal. If you walk into Target, they're going to try to sell you whatever's in Target, okay? Now, the sales associates aren't necessarily going to try and do that because that's not their business model, but the whole store is set up to say, hey, here's what we got. Here's a sale, right? Here's this. Check it out, right? And so it's mind-blowing that this happens. So if you're running a business, if you're trying to start a business, especially if it's a business online, just recognize that there's a certain percentage of the audience that are very uninformed and very hypercritical about you doing anything to improve your life. And they will always take the negative view of something no matter how hard you try. And so don't worry about them. Just know they exist, embrace them, right? And it's just an expectation that you're going to get haters, you're going to get complainers, and so you can leverage that to your advantage. But don't do it. A lot of people make the mistake in their business of feeding the haters, of giving them credibility, of actually listening and waiting their time and attention and focus on the haters, versus what you should do is figure out who your best customers are and just make all your efforts to help them, okay? And I'll get back to the whole FIFA corruption and why it doesn't matter at the end of the day. But first, I want to read you this, and this is from Blair Warren, and it's called the one-sentence persuasion. And you should read the whole report. In fact, he says in the report that you should read the whole report for this. You can get it for free. You can go find it. But this is the line that you can use the channel. And this is the line where people are all complaining about FIFA and all that kind of stuff. But people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. Okay, hugely powerful line there. The key thing for you, and so make sure you read through that, go get the full report, it's free, you can go search Blair Warren, One Sentence Persuasion, get that, and try to incorporate that into your life. Just know that that's how people operate. I operate like that, you operate like that, just naturally, and you sometimes have to use your prefrontal cortex to snap yourself out of just following the herd there. So in business, right, you want to find your ideal customers, right, ideal clients, whoever you want to work with, and you want to do that for them. You want to encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks at their enemies. So you can set that up for your business. And by the way, if you want to learn how, right, one of the best ways is by working through AI to help guide you on this process. And so if you want to learn more about that, check out the arsenal below, or if you're like, I'm not ready for, the arsenal and implementing this stuff, at least, or maybe you're not even sold on AI, at least get a copy of my book, Send It Over Master It, where I talk about this type of stuff. #1 best-selling book here. You can get it via the link below in the description. And it's like, I don't know, like $17. So highly recommend, especially if you want to be successful in the age of AI and with these tools. Okay, so back to this. So you want to focus on your ideal clients and your best clients and do this for them. Too many people make the mistake of focusing on their worst clients, right? The complainers, the malcontents, right? The haters, all those people, and they do this for them, right? And they feed into that, and you get tripped up because your best clients, right, aren't concerned with some of this stuff. And so back to the World Cup, because we got to close that loop here and why it doesn't matter. And we'll give another big lesson for success in business and life from that, is that it doesn't matter if FIFA is corrupt or not. You can't do anything about it. Even teams playing at FIFA can't do anything about it if they're corrupt or if they're not corrupt. Now, I lean towards there's probably some corruption, right? It's a big organization. There's a lot of money going around. There's probably some levels of corruption. It probably isn't to the extent of these, what people think it is, of these refs, right? Selectively choosing calls to fix the matches and all that kind of stuff. Soccer is a dynamic, it's a complex game, and it's tough for refs to call everything perfectly. It just is. It's a big field. Right? You got to be in position. It's hard. It's really hard to do it right and do it perfectly over and over and over again, even with technology. Okay. It would turn into a different game. And the different game, it'd be like football, where you're constantly stopping, constant whistles, constant stop of play, just totally different. Okay, and it kind of defeats a lot of the purpose of soccer to be a continuous flowing sport. Okay, but it doesn't matter if FIFA is corrupt or not. You can't do anything about it. You can't change the fact if the ref is going to, blow the whistle on you or not. Right? Even if you made a foul, if you didn't make a foul, all you can do is just play your game. Understand that it exists and play within the rules that you are capable of playing in, and recognize the rules, the written ones and maybe unwritten rules that you can do. And one thing just specifically for soccer that I think has completely changed, and that I think it should change for the better with VAR, is that in the past, historically, soccer has been known for flopping and people doing all, just theatrics to try and get the attention of the ref, because you couldn't stop time. And so it buys their team time to reposition and to, catch their breath and to make sure they're not out of position so that the other team can take advantage of that. So it does that. It also potentially gets them fouls and penalties and an edge over the other team if they flop and it looks like a legit foul and the ref calls it, they couldn't review it. Well, now, thankfully, the ref can review some things, and one of the biggest ones is offsides. Oftentimes, players will stop playing if they felt like they were fouled or if they felt like the play was offsides, and it can lead to a goal. Well, in the past, it couldn't be reviewed, and so if the ref didn't blow the whistle, hey, you're kind of screwed. Now, the cool thing is that you should just keep playing hard no matter what, because if the team scores and you were fouled or they were offsides, the refs will review it and they'll likely take the goal away, right? Or if they don't review it and the team and you play hard, right? And the person fouled you or they were offsides and it doesn't get reviewed, well, you increase your chance of stopping the goal, okay? And so I think that's actually a positive change, and something that you should take away from this is that when it comes down to it, you don't have control over FIFA. You don't have control over what the refs are doing. All you do have control over to what you can do in your life. And too many people, they look at external things and then they say, well, that external thing is corrupt and therefore I can't succeed. Versus saying, that external thing exists. It may be corrupt, it may not. I can at least kind of understand how it operates. Who am I to sit here and judge the corruption of that, right? What's it going to get me? But how can I figure out how to use that to my advantage? How can I change my strategy? I made a video a few weeks back where college kids were booing about AI and it coming and taking jobs, and them feeling slighted by that or disadvantaged by that. And I'm like, sure, maybe AI is corrupt. Maybe it's potentially taking jobs. Maybe it's using public information, right? Your public information to train its models to replace you. Maybe that's all true and that's all going to happen. But sitting there complaining and blaming and pointing the finger, it doesn't do anything for you, okay? It doesn't give you an edge. It doesn't move you forward. It just makes you one of the malcontents out there. And you can choose to be in that camp, or you can say, okay, it is what it is. How am I going to figure this out? How am I going to work around it? How am I going to get an edge here? How am I going to change my strategy so that I can win no matter what, right? And in soccer, you can complain about the refs. But should that mean you don't play as hard? Should that mean that you just give up and walk off the field? No, if you choose to participate and compete in that game, in that dynamic, and oftentimes we don't have a choice, we're part of a game, we're part of dynamics, whether we choose to be a part of them or not, you're born into it based on what country you're at or whatnot, right? You're there. You can choose to be like, okay, well, deck stacked against me, I can't do anything. Right? That's one way to go about it. And I can guarantee that's a way to go about it to guarantee you won't have success, right? Or you won't accomplish anything significant in life. Or you can say, okay, it is what it is. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it sucks being born in this neighborhood. It sucks being poor. It sucks not having resources. It sucks maybe not having internet. It sucks maybe that my power goes out every time it rains, whatever it is, depending on wherever you're at. Okay? But here's what I can do about it. And yeah, it sucks that maybe you can't get ahead as fast as maybe someone who doesn't have those disadvantages that you think that you have, right? But you can still get ahead, further ahead than you would have if you just sat back and just complained. And so that's the real takeaway from this, right? Is that in business and life, you can't control everything. All you can focus on are the things that you can control. And so when it comes down to it, it's like focus on the right customers, the right people, serving those people versus the haters, right? The people that won't pay you money, that won't help you get results. Focus on the people that you can help. Do everything you can to help those people, right? Do actions for your business, publish content, create products, get feedback, refine your strategy, build tools to solve problems, make offers. You can control those things when it comes to your health and fitness. Yeah, the American food sucks. There's been a lot of talk about that, right? But you can control what you eat, how you work out. You can say, hey, I'm not going to just go and ride the wave and just say, well, food's bad anyways, I'm just going to eat it all. You can just say, okay, how can I source better nutrients? How can I live in a way that I'm more active so I can stay more fit? There's an option no matter what for most people in most circumstances. A good book, if you want to read this, is A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, where he even talks about the options that people had within the Nazi concentration camps, okay? And the people that chose to find reasons to continue on were the ones that were more likely to survive versus the ones that said, well, these people are terrible, they're evil, they're oppressive, I guess I'm just going to die here, right? They were much less likely to survive. And so it's a very good book. I highly recommend it. And there's all these situations and dynamics that you have in your life that you can choose to lean into the people, the malcontents, the complainers, the blaming others, right? This other thing is corrupt or is preventing me from having success. Or you can lean into, okay, how can I figure it out? How can I make it happen? How can I defy the odds? How can I do the impossible? How can I overcome this? Maybe they are corrupt. How can I still win? Okay. And that's the mindset that, you're not always going to come out on top. But with that mindset, you're much more likely to. And over time, with that, as you get reps, as you practice, as you do it more and more and more, you will win. You will find a way to win. And I can almost guarantee that. So just to conclude, is FIFA corrupt? Maybe, maybe not. Does it matter? No, you and I have no control over that. And for the viewer, the passive viewer, right, just watch it and enjoy the show. Enjoy the spectacle, if you're the viewer. If you're the player, if you're a person that wants to participate in that, right? Control what you can control. Go out there and play hard. Work your ass off. Don't care what the refs are going to do. Play your game, right? Develop the strategies that you need to do. Make it so that it's so impossible for them to fix the match against you because you've exerted so much effort and energy and you've played so well. They can't change the outcome. Make it inevitable that you have your success, and take that idea and mindset and apply it to your life, into your business, into your relationships. Just do the things that you need to do to make it inevitable for you to succeed, because sitting back and complaining and blaming others is not the strategy for that. So anyways, that is it for this video. If you want to learn more about AI and tools on how you can do that, if you want to learn how to implement that one sentence persuasion, go ahead, grab a copy of the Send It Master It book, or join the arsenal in the description below, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace.